So I grew up on this river, and as a kid we used to do a lot of fishing on it with poles. We'd go from down towards Croton to up towards Fishkill and Cold Spring and Garrison, New York, and we did a lot of fishing. Striped bass fishing to triple hooking for catfish. And I had friends that used to fish down here with a boat and nets, and I would help them out. And a big thing down here with nets used to be shad fishing. So I would give them a hand with their nets with that. One day I came down here to help them out with their boat, but they weren't down here, and it was just this old timer named Tucker. As kids, we never knew what Tucker did for a living, but he used to always pay cash for his pickup trucks and always had wads of $100 bills in his pocket. So we kind of thought he was the mob or something, we thought he was like mafioso or something. And one day I came down here, and my friends weren't here, but Tucker was here, and he's like, come on kid, give me a hand with my nets. So I went out in his boat, which basically was just a huge glorified rowboat with a motor on it. And there was absolutely no fishing paraphernalia in the boat. The only thing that was in the boat was the sides were kind of like caked up with some scales, these big scales. And there was like a Brunswick bowling pin that would just be rolling around in there as we were boating to his to find his nets. Once we got to his nets, it was time to check them out and pull up the buoy and start looking at his nets. And I'm pretty young, I don't know, 14, 15 maybe. And all of a sudden I see a shank, this huge shank to a tail, and then I see the fin, the fin of this thing. And it was huge, and I'm a young kid. I'm like, holy crap, this is a freaking shark. It's a shark in the Hudson River, and I'm gonna die because this thing was bigger than the boat, literally bigger than the boat. Sturgeon get huge, and this thing was a big one. This thing was maybe, I don't know, 12 to 14 feet long, massive. And it was bigger than the boat. Couldn't get it in the boat. This is when the bowling pin came into play. He reaches down for the bowling pin, and he's just like, cracks it in the head, knocks it out, ties a rope around its tail fin, and hooks it up to the bow of the boat, booking to get into to his little dock that he had down here in Verplank. And we get about halfway in, and this thing wakes up, starts thrashing around, and it's like, knocking the boat around. And he just calmly gets up, with the stogie and hanging out of his mouth, and grabs the pin and like cracks it in the head again, knocks it out, and we just casually, come whizzing into his dock area. And apparently this thing was, it had 8 pounds of eggs in it. And then later on, I found out when I actually went to the Culinary Institute that, caviar comes from sturgeon. And I don't know what it's going for now, but I think it was like $150 an ounce or something like that. I don't even remember, but it was a lot of money. And 8 pounds equated to a lot of money. And that's how this guy made his fortunes. And then later on, I found out that he was actually banned from the Hudson by the EPA or some agency. Tobacco, fish, and farts. I don't know what it was, but him and this other guy named Charlie White from Peekskill area, they were jacking sturgeon, supposedly. And that's my little tale of the Hudson River with sturgeon. And then later on, I actually tasted sturgeon when I was in the culinary, and it makes tuna fish look silly as far as it's just so delicious. If you ever get a chance and you're in the city, go to Russ and Daughters and try the smoked sturgeon to die for. Catch you later.